Of all the risks we will take in our lives, perhaps the greatest risk is loving another person. I mean, think about it for a second. You end up being so vulnerable when you love someone because you put your love out there and it might not be reciprocated. Or you put it out there and then maybe after a while, that person who said they loved you, they decide, you know what, I don't love you anymore. All of us understand the heartbreak of having our love thrown back in our face. And for some of us, that wound that we feel is so incredibly great that we end up not wanting to have love in our lives any longer. We look at that wound on our heart and we say to ourselves, you know what? I don't ever want to be that vulnerable ever again. And that starts at different points in our lives. For some of us, it begins when we're children and our caretakers, they don't treat us the way that they should. For others, these wounds form when they fall in love with potential mates, and still others with the dissolution of friendships. Regardless of how it happens, love represents a gamble they are not willing to take because the risks outweigh the rewards. So they wall themselves off from the world so as not to get hurt any further. I think part of the problem is the way that we tend to approach relationships these days. We often ask the question of ourselves, well, what is this person going to do for me? How are they going to serve my needs? And the moment you ask this question, there's an imbalance that occurs. Because now the relationship is transactional. When I ask the question, what are you going to do for me? Well, that means my love is conditional. I love you as long as you meet my needs. But the moment I'm not happy, well, I start questioning my love for you. Now, of course, that's not what love is all about. Love is about two people who are mutually invested in the other person. Love is about you giving everything to that other person and that other person giving everything to you. If you fundamentally view love as an act of giving, then generally speaking, you're both going to have your needs met because both of you are going to be looking out for the needs of the other. The problem with love as an act of giving is that it makes you super vulnerable. I think this is why most people prefer to view love as something that they receive rather than something that they give. Because if I can just bask in the love that you lavish upon me, I never have to place myself in harm's way. But that's not love. That's narcissism. Real love, true love, requires risk. And if you'll join me upstairs, I'd like to tell you about why I believe love is always worth the risk.